So, Street Fighter 6 has been out since 2023, so it's been like 2 years since the game has been out, and, since its release, it has been one of the more popular fighting games that we have seen within the past couple of years, and, I don't know, you think about, like, the Street Fighter series, and you think about some of the more popular characters that have emerged within the past 20 years. um I feel like Juri-Han was one of the more popular, I guess, female characters to have come out of the Street Fighter series since I think she appeared back in 2010. And I remember when she first appeared, she was like the it girl. She was like the villainess that everyone loved. She was sadistic. She was psychotic. She was a top agent in the Sin organization, and for those who don't know, that's basically Shadaloo International. She had a very dark childhood. She lost her eye or whatever when she was younger, and she held a grudge against Bison because Bison, I think, was the one that killed her family when she was younger, and yeah, it's like I think the fact that she was a villainess along with like her I guess her sex appeal, her move set, her unhinged personality, all that stuff is what made her likable. And it seems like as time went by, like her character got watered down, and it seemed like I guess with like Street Fighter 6, it seemed like she's just a shade of what she used to be. And the reason I say that is because you look at World Tour mode in Street Fighter 6. Basically, she just comes off as a lot of people would say is like a friendless loser or whatever. And obviously, she goes out of her way to antagonize the player character, whoever you decide to create or whatever. And I guess while it's not bad for a personality, or it's not bad for her like character per se, I feel like it's one of those things where like after Seth was defeated in like Street Fighter 4 or whatever, and the Shadaloo International just disbanded. It seemed like she didn't really have much of a purpose, and I think the main thing about her that kind of stays the same is that she antagonizes people that she don't like Chun Li, and despite that, Chun Li doesn't really harbor any personal like animosity towards her. I mean, she doesn't like her, but still, it's like whatever, because she knows what it's like have her life, I guess, messed with by Bison and all that stuff. But then again, Chun Li, feuded with a lot of people in the older games, so I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like her character doesn't have much of a direction compared to where she was like 15 years ago. And her character design, even though it's better than what we got in Street Fighter 5, um, a lot of people feel like her character design in Super Street Fighter 4 was probably the best. And I think maybe because it was a different time, maybe she was new, maybe, back in like 2010 or whatever, we didn't see a character like her in Capcom, prior to her debut. So maybe those things made her stand out more so than, I guess, other characters. But like nowadays, there's like there's more female characters like now than I think there's ever been, especially in like Street Fighter 6. We have names like Kimberly, Lily, Manon. You have AKI. They're bringing back C Viper, who was also in Street Fighter 4. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually brought back like Sakura or Karen or other popular characters from the past. But the point is, I feel like there's just more and more female characters being added to a point where I think it's taken like the shine off of her, and she's starting to become a thing in the past. And she's lost her, villainous edge, which is something that, a lot of people kind of criticize Capcom for. While some people, have no problem with this new character change that she has. Um, I kind of feel like she has lost her purpose, and I don't know, is there's not much for her to really like, do to make her a more interesting character now. I understand that they brought back Bison. I think he's back as like a DLC or whatever. And we all know she hates Bison, so obviously, whatever is a story there. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that Juri-Han is necessarily ruined. It's just that her popularity has dwindled a lot since 2015. But despite that, she's still one of the more popular, female Street Fighter characters, along with like Chun Li and Cammy, who have been around since like the early 90s. And we got some fresh new faces that people can focus on with Street Fighter 6. So yeah, I honestly feel like that's the situation with Juri Han. And and yeah, while like her character could have been handled better, I don't think she's like I don't think she's completely ruined like a lot of people, say that she is. And and yeah, I honestly feel like it's one of those things where, she'll be a staple character in future installments, whether it be a spin-off or whether it's Street Fighter 7, which is probably like another like several years from now. I honestly feel like she's a character that's going to be featured more prominently in the future.